so positive mood. It's something like just a perfect mood. Sonic waves glaze for days in the sunlight haze. I feel good to be alive. All this shit that beat me down the corners, I still survive. It ain't all complicated. I'm glad I found you. That's when you open your heart and I surround you.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Ain't That Right? I'm your host, the Duncan Dad, the 3Gs with DD, growth, grace, and giving back. And we just got to get right into it. We got to get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. No, we're not going to get into the Degeneration X opening theme from the WWF Raw era, Attitude Era, way back when. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends, family, children of all ages, welcome back to another edition of 3Gs with DD. Growth, grace, giving back. And today, we celebrate one of the most quintessential food holidays ever. This falls into the area of where if someone doesn't particularly care for this type of food, I know we're kind of food-centric here. Maybe I'm just hungry. But today is International Cheese Day. And you know, 3Gs, DD, cheese, it's all there. And before you laugh, let me tell you something. Cheese might be one of the greatest teachers that we've got. Think about it. Cheese doesn't rush. Like, good cheese doesn't rush. There's a process to it. It doesn't panic. It doesn't compare itself to the block next to it. It stands on its own. It ages well. It develops. It sits right in its little environment and lets time, just lets time do what time does. And if that isn't a word for somebody today and what we're doing and what we're going through, I really don't know what is. I mean, the burger thing was nice, right? And we had, some pasta and pizza, but like cheese, right? So some of us now, we're young, we're mild, we're immature. Some of us are sharp. Some of us are going through a season where all of the molds and stuff come in. It's a little funky, but there's a purpose to that. Because every single flavor, every single profile, every single individual, every single stage has value. So International Cheese Day, we're diving straight in to the 3Gs with DD. Growth, grace, and giving back. And how a simple slice of cheese, a little wedge of cheese, right, can remind us of who we're becoming and what we are transforming into. So yes, cheese. Not beans. We're not going to do a little something about Mary show here. We're just talking about cheese. So what do we think of when we think about cheese initially, right? Well, it says it takes time for things to mature. However, just because time is passing doesn't mean that we're getting any better, right? We can't confuse time going by with progress. Sometimes it matures quicker. Sometimes it takes a little bit of these speed bumps, right? Sometimes we have to be out in the dark, away from everything. Sometimes you need to be over here, exposed to all the elements. So we just want to make sure that we are aging ourselves well in our priority practices, our daily disciplines, etc. What we're doing, what we are linking up with, because aging well is different from just getting old, right? Just getting old without this direction, without purpose, without initiative, without honing. Will you become something? Of course you will, but you're never going to become this fullest version of who you are and whom you want to be. Some cheeses, as they develop over time, as we develop over time, and we have all these individuals represented in our family, friends group, etc. Some stay mild. They're creamy. They're nice. It's a pleasant sort of experience. Very content, very down to earth, easygoing, not abrasive. Everyone gets along. Some individuals, like cheeses, become very sharp. They're very pointed, they're very disciplined, they're very dialed in, they're very affluent in their particular circles because of the way that they have trained and educate and present themselves and follow through. There's no room for anything other than what they are focused on. Some cheeses get bold. They're loud. You see them, you can taste them, you can feel them. You get excited. Some cheese, if not taken care of the right way, get funky. You may look at a Camembert and something like that and be like, oh, it's horrible, I can't smell it. But even in those sorts of cheeses, there's a very distinguished and a very wonderful flavor profile. Your experiences as you mold yourself into this block of cheese, the pressures, the patience, this process that you are going through, honing, refining, redefining, that's what's giving you your particular flavor. Remember, you're going to choose, am I going to introduce extra salts? Am I going to introduce extra flavors? Am I going to introduce essence? These are the choices that you make as you're developing yourself. You're creating this version of yourself. So growth like cheese when we stay in the right environment, when we hone those skills and those disciplines and those practices, we don't just get older, but we get better as we age. Does this mean there's not going to be seasons where things are going to creep in and we're going to have a setback? Sure. Does it mean that there's not going to be seasons where maybe it's a little too much moisture? Sure. But that's where we go back and we retune and we hone and we dial back in. We see maybe we don't need too much of this. We need a little less of that. We need a little more of this particular essence in our life. Our grace component, when we speak of cheese, is that we need to respect everyone's taste. Certain individuals, dry, sharp, biting cheese, that's their thing. That's mine. I love a nice Locatelli. As dry as you can get it. I almost want it to be, hard when I have the cheese. Complements all of the, the cured meats and stuff like that, and the olives and the peppers that you shouldn't be eating, with the breads and oils. Other individuals like cheddar. Some people like Havarti. Some people like brie. All of these things that we have to do keep us focused on respecting everyone else's taste. I am going to take a quick 2-minute break. If I can, guys, I need to go pick something up. I'll be right.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of a very special woman. In a matter of seconds, she turned herself into a great mathematician or an entrepreneur. Her knowledge was limitless and still is. She could also make monsters disappear, especially those that lurked in the shadows under the bed. Once, this woman put back together a teenage girl's broken heart, which had been...
Hey. Sorry about that, guys. We're all back. Delivery, how to get it. It's one of those sign for packages. If you know, you know. So, the grace that we have with cheese and with our lives is that you need to respect everyone's preference, everyone's taste. Does this mean that some taste and some things are good? Yes. Some things bad? Maybe. But not everybody likes the same cheese. Some folks like the creamy cheddar, mozzarella's, melts well. Others like blue cheese, brie, goat cheese, something that has a little more essence, a little more pop. Some people are lactose free and they can't touch it at all. What do you do then? Grace tells us, don't clown somebody just because their journey looks different. Don't shame people for what they can and can't handle. Right? That's not what we're about. We're always put at odds and compared to other people, their journey, what they're doing. And is it used as the barometer, the measuring stick? Yeah, at times it is, right? But when we're only fixated on those sort of comparisons, we begin to undercut our own growth and the growth of other people. And just don't fall into the practice, and we spoke about this previously on the program, that what you're doing, what your flavor profile is, what your particular favorite is the standard. Like, you're not always the standard. You're not going to be the standard for someone else. Why? Because everyone's life, everyone's choices, everyone's abilities, everyone's resources are different as they progress. And that's fine. It's knowing that some people are still going to be mild. They're still growing. Some people are extra sharp. That's okay. Some people are learning what they can and what they can't digest in life. Right? Like, sometimes you got to try something and figure out, you know what? This isn't for me. Or I may have found something that inspires me, that pushes me to be a better version of myself, even after you've gone through some heavy times and some not so good moments. Right? Everyone likes a good comeback, but the comeback and the honing only begins when you sit there yourself and you say, let's do an honest evaluation of what's going on here and what has to change and what doesn't have to change. That's the maturity. That's the aging well, not just getting older. There's a lot of individuals that you look around, look in your workplace, look in your immediate acquaintance or friend group, and you're like, my gosh, he or she is XYZ years of age. And they've been through, and you've got the laundry list of it, because guess what? They're the ones that are texting you, calling you, complaining to you, wanting to celebrate with you. And you're like, how are you still here with all of this? Now, granted, you're not judging them. You're not holding their feet to the fire, but as a concerned friend, you want to be like, wow, like we should be a little farther along here. What was missed? What wasn't missed? What can I do to help? What do I need to remove if I need to remove it? Right? Because we want everyone around us to be better and be the best version of themselves, but all of those hopes and dreams and wants and wishes, none of that means a hill of crap if the individual themselves is just going to let it go. And we're not here to fix everyone, but we're here to make sure that how we are aging, how we're maturing, how we're sharing our grace, how we are sharing ourselves best benefits the people around us, primarily and always starting with ourselves. Right? You can take that horse to water, but you can't make them drink. I can show you and give you examples, but if you're not willing to take that upon yourself, we're just going to go in circles. So grace is knowing that some people are going to mature. Some people aren't going to mature. Some people are going to have a profile that can sometimes be really sharp and sometimes really funky. And where do you fit? Where do you want to fit into that? Because that leads into our giving back. Because when you think about cheese, biggest thing, it's everywhere now, right? It's like the charcuterie board or charcuterie, however you want to say it. Blast me in the comments, whatever. But cheese, ourselves, we shine when we're put out there. When we interject ourselves into life, into reality, into the ether of our relationships. We shine, but we don't shine alone. Right? Because we're meant to be shared. Our talents are meant to be shared. Our resources are meant to be shared. Our experiences are meant to be shared. And we're taking them back from everyone else around us as well. And we're growing. It's that constant mirror, that constant reflection. We share it with our friends, our family, our loved ones. Parties, events, game nights, tastings. Like, all of these networking events we are interacting and sharing. And we pair it with our community. And our community is this plate. So when we step into that world where we're sharing of ourselves and we're giving back, we want to make sure that the table that we're putting them on is a responsible, supportive table that is growing and that is diverse and inclusive. I'm not just going to sit over here and put my light underneath the bushel basket and keep everything to myself. How am I going to grow? Yeah, I'm going to have to take a chance. I might get burned. Okay. It might be the greatest thing in the world. But when you invite people into your life and giving them the opportunity to have relationship, that's the giving and the taking, the giving back. You're sharing your time, your wisdom, your resources, and yourself. And it's super important as you age, if you are aging well, that those individuals, places, things, etc., are benefiting to you and to them. You may take away more from a situation, person, place, and thing than someone else, but them sharing and giving to you is their component. Support those people around you. Support those who may be going through something that you're going through. But remember, caveat, right? You're not in their place. You can't go back and tell them to do what it is they want to do, and this will indeed happen. It's not going to happen. They're going to age in their own time. But when we give back, we're essentially saying, come on over, man, sit down. Let's share, let's talk. There's room for everybody here at this table. I'm going to try this, you try that. We're going to have experience, we're going to learn, we're going to grow. We're going to elevate everybody. We celebrate this International Cheese Day. And we're reminded that growing is a process. Sometimes it's very fast. People have to grow really fast. Other times, you grow up in a situation where you're never really exposed to the trials, tribulations, and heartaches of the world. You're insulated and you're protected. Other people are not. So, aging with purpose, aging with direction, reminds us that we have a responsibility not only to ourselves, but we have a responsibility to everyone else that we come in contact with in order to have and fortify and shape and mold, in a good way, those relationships going forward. We have to let ourselves impart our grace and our patience and our time, not only to ourselves, but to the other people that we come in contact with, because we don't know where they're at in their process, right? And it sounds redundant, but when we apply it to a simple example or a complex example of making cheese, time, allowing people to grow in their own space and their own speed, being patient, being temperate, not turning a blind eye, not being an enabler, not undercutting someone or pacifying someone just to get through. That's where the full development, the flavor profile of our lives come together. Giving ourselves that pause, giving ourselves and others that moment to find themselves. And if your wherewithal is wherewithaling, you'll know and acknowledge this is a healthy situation. This isn't a healthy situation. This is something that I need to work through without this individual, or this is something I can help them work through together. So, growing on International Cheese Day and in our lives, is it a celebration? Yes, it's a celebration. But growth, like the good stuff, it just doesn't get older. You get wiser. You go deeper. You get richer in your character. You get richer in how it is you are shaping and forming your identity. Building that legacy. So when someone says, insert name, person, place, and thing, you immediately think, oh, yes, that's a positive reference. Or that was an instance where I was challenged and I appreciate that challenge. Or, oh, I don't want to think about that. That's not good at all. That left a bad taste in my mouth. So, being older, maturing, it's not just about numbers. It's not just about accumulating stats. It's about knowledge, understanding of yourself, of your environment, of where you're putting yourself, who you're surrounding yourself with, how that reflective energy is giving back to those around you. Because remember, you give back good, you give back bad. Give grace in these moments, like you are preparing space on the plate or charcuterie board of life. Make room in your life for different people, places, things, taste, identities, different journeys, different stories. If you're open, you're understanding, you're empathetic, you're willing, you will take the wisdom and the strength from those experiences, from those other tastes, and make them part of who you are. Even if it is just as simple as I've listened and I can begin to understand where it is and what you've been through. You may not choose to live your life that way. You may not choose to constantly go and have this on your particular plate or be involved, but you're not going to just dismiss and cut someone off because you're unwilling to try or taste, right? We say that with children all the time, right? Oh, I don't like that food. You've never tried it. But everyone's opinion says, well, that's fine. If everyone's opinion says, then we wouldn't do anything. Now, does this mean you go and try every single thing underneath the sun? I'm sure there's a Murphy button for that at some level. But in other instances, yeah. You should get out there. You should explore. You should try things. You should taste things. You should challenge yourself. There's nothing more revealing than coming into contact with an individual organization, and when their opinion varies so different from you that it actually strikes you at your core, and you're almost taken aback, and you need to reflect and see like how much conviction and how much principle that this person, place, or thing believes in. And why can't I see that? Why can't I begin to empathize with that? Why can't I begin to understand that? What kind of roadblocks have I put up for myself? What kind of safety nets have I put up for myself? Does this mean you have to go do it all the time and live and make it your life? No, not at all. But it's very... I don't know. I would say it's very disheartening when you're unwilling to even listen and have a conversation. This doesn't mean you need to give your opinion. This doesn't mean that you need to, scream and yell and strike someone down. No. But you are only going to know or begin to know what someone appreciates, where they come from, what they're doing, what they're experiencing, what they're going through, if you take that chance. Conversely, on the other side, the other individuals, whomever it is, cannot be so hard-headed that they feel as if sharing their opinion would be an insult. Right? We've gotten away from the grace of making room for many different tastes and places and fruits and journeys on our board of life, that if we don't like it and we don't want to hear it, then it's just evil and bad and we dismiss it. There's a lot of cheese in the world. There are cheese that you've never even heard of. You've never even tasted. You can't even comprehend. Neither can I. I'm not going to dismiss it. I'm not going to throw it out with the bathwater. Because that particular cheese, that particular person, that particular organization, that particular place, they have a journey. They have a story. They have something to share. Now, is it good? That's in the eye of the beholder. Is it bad? That's in the eye of the beholder. Because when we give back, we are sharing. We are sharing what we've been blessed with, what we have earned, what we have gone through. Our time, our talent, our gifts, our compassion, and most importantly, and this is where, in today's day and age especially, it's a big hallmark. European nations a little different. Smaller communities a little different. But your presence is important. I'm going to say this with, I don't know, I guess a grain of salt, Murphy button, but like, don't show up just to show up. Like, you shouldn't do that. Now, Dunk, well, what about working? I get that, ha, chat, whatever. But like, don't show up just to show up. If someone invites you to their table to share in their journey, to share in their cheese, to share in their stories, experiences, life, blah, 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 to help build a burger with them, it's because they value you. And they value your gifts, and they value your time, and they value your presence. It's a big thing. And because of a lot of the ways we perceive things nowadays, through the advent of social media, turn off. They're there, they're not there. They're there, they're not there. And granted, I love and appreciate every single person that's out there tuning in and watching, but imagine sitting down across the table, how much more impactful that is. So when you have this in your life, when you have this impact, when you have these opportunities, when you have these moments to give back of yourself, put it in a great receptive place where you're going places and you're doing things and you're experiencing and you're challenging yourself and you're growing. It's so wonderful to have that feeling, and then to be surrounded by other individuals who you hold close that share those same sort of values or experiences, or bring the diversity where I might be a little bit reserved, but this person brings this out of me. They help me see a little bit more of this. That's fantastic. To be able to bottle that, encapsulate that, and send it out to everybody, I wish everyone could do it all the time. And yeah, we can do it to a point through this medium, and I appreciate it and I love it. But there's nothing like sitting down with a person you just met halfway across the world, having a drink inside of a soccer stadium, and discovering things about each other. There's nothing like that. Those are the moments, those are the instances of growth that we are honing for and chasing and preparing ourselves for each and every single day. And if you're not getting that from the people that you are surrounded with, then it's your responsibility to change that. Oh, environment, I get, yeah, boom, 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 Murphy. Not shut Mark Murphy, shout out to Mark. But it's your responsibility to change it or not change it. Because life isn't meant to be lived sealed up in the little piece of plastic cellophane wrapper, the little box that the cheese comes in. It's meant to be opened. It's meant to be shared. It's meant to be enjoyed. It's meant to be passed around the table. Some people are going to like you. Some people aren't going to like you. Some people are going to tolerate you. Some people are going to be like, well, I would eat it, but in this particular circumstance. That is life. That's life, and that's the beauty of life, and that's the beauty of experience. Different strokes for different folks. You have yours, they have theirs, and I have mine, and together we'll be fine. Shout out to the great sitcom in the 80s. The message is today, whether you're mild, whether you're bold, whether you're sharp, whether you're still trying to figure out your flavor, while you're still maturing, remember the 3 G's. Growth, grace, giving back. Grow and age well. Mature. Have a deeper understanding of who you are, where you're at, and where you're going. Grace. Plain and simple, don't be an a-hole. Protect yourself, yes. Protect your heart, yes. Yes, of course. But that doesn't mean you get to crap on everyone else. They're there to have their fun, to have their party, to have their cheese, to share their gifts as well. Maybe take a minute, step back, see what it's about. That's how we're giving back. So please, everyone, enjoy your day. Enjoy National Cheese Day. Hopefully you got a little bit of something from this metaphor on the 3 G's with DD. Growth, grace, giving back. Ain't that right? When we come back, we will be on the cusp of starting FIFA World Cup 2026. The United States is, I'd say, semi-ready. I don't think they understand, maybe they will, the influx of individuals and people, places, things that are coming, but we're going to let that be. I know a lot of European listeners here, and I'm with you guys. Infrastructure, some of these places, let's go to the stadiums, get on the trains, back and forth, nice and easy. It is what it is. It's going to work itself out. If you are in the States, use public transportation to get where you're going, because the parking is, number one, atrocious. Number two, you got to prepay it. Number three, if you do get there, you happen to have a spot, it's going to be longer than the game to get back home from where you're at. Anyway, have a great weekend. Enjoy the weather. I will see everyone on Tuesday. Shout out to the NHL Finals, the NBA Finals. Great time to be a sports fan. Love, love, love it. Everyone, please be good, be well. I will talk to you on Tuesday.